I unfortunately started playing Dead by Daylight. I know, that sounds psychotic, and honestly, I agree. But something drew me towards it. Something drew me. Maybe it was the controversy videos. Maybe it was the survivor killer discourse. But something drew me towards it. And so I said, you know what? Let's just record our very first ever match against players. And so this is my Steam account. I'm playing on PC. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to make an example out of Dustin Henderson over there and Quentin. That dude's name is Quentin. That's crazy. I've never met a Quentin in my life. And you're telling me now I have to put him out of his misery? Beautiful. What a beautiful start to my Dead by Daylight journey. This is my loadout. I don't even know. So let me tell you something. Just to preface my entire Dead by Daylight knowledge before even playing this game. This is my first ever. I mean, you can even see the Steam achievement on the top right. This is my first ever match of Dead by Daylight. I did play it one time to try and get a Twitch clip and go viral. But that was literally in the middle of coronavirus about 5 years ago. So that doesn't count. This is an interesting game for me because I always watch streamers play it. So it's not like I'm coming into this with no knowledge. But like, just because you read a book on how to do karate doesn't mean you know how to do karate. You get what I'm saying? So I'm very interested in what my journey in Dead by Daylight is going to look like. So we're playing a character that I just found to be really cool. I chose Spirit because she looks cool. I played Silent Hill F when it came out, and I was like, oh, she looks like one, like one of the monsters. And I was like, oh, cool. And like another thing that's really cool about her is she has this little like phase thingy-mabobber. Anyway, when we started off the match there, we saw one of the survivors DC'd, and I was like, whatever, just walk right by them. I didn't really think about it too much. This locker kind of shocked me because like, why is that locker doing that? You know what I mean? That was strange. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's like little jump scares here and there. Sometimes this game reminds you that it is a horror game, or at least horror adjacent. Regardless, though, my mindset coming into this game is so. Basically, the way that I see Dead by Daylight from the outside coming in. Again, guys, I'm completely new to this game. This is my first ever match, but I have seen YouTube videos and guides and beginner stuff, right? And the way that I see Dead by Daylight, so I hear this gen going off, and at the end of the day, the way that I see Dead by Daylight is, it is a time management game. It is a game all about efficiency with your time. And I hear somebody crying. Like, someone is just like, they drove by the McDonald's with their mom, and their mom said, we have McDonald's at home. And then they were forced to eat frozen foods. And so I clapped his cheeks a little bit, I'm not going to lie to you. Real easy, picked them up. I honestly, by the end of the match, I actually thought that they were bots. I'm not going to lie. But that's beautiful because that means that players like me playing this game for the first time ever are going to experience similar level players, I suppose. Anyway, the way that I see Dead by Daylight is it's basically like a time efficiency game. You don't want to waste too much time on a chase. You don't want to waste too much time, on a side of the map where there's nothing going on. Unless someone is like super caught out, but then that might be a mind game to like try and bait you to waste your time while their teammates do other things on the map. So in a way, this game is kind of like League of Legends, in a way. With like you don't want to be on a part of the map where nothing's going on. Get out of there, go back to the gens that they might be hovering around, and farm up. Farm up those knockdowns, farm up those injuries, farm up those downs. That was the survivor who ended up lagging out of the match at the beginning, so if her movement looks weird, she's the one who lagged out. But pretty much what I'm doing in this match is I'm just trying to see what's going on, who's trying to make what decisions. To be quite honest with you, I don't even know what's activating that aura. I don't know if it's because of the crows. It might be the crows. But pretty much the reason why I like this character, and then I hear them healing up. That was really odd, but also I don't know how this character looks from the survivor's perspective. If you look there, I actually tried to turn around because I knew they were going to drop the pallet, but I didn't do it in time and I got hit by the pallet. And I was like, you know what if I can scare that survivor into thinking I'm going to go and attack him behind that like little corner. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to juke him out and just go and see what I can do. And it was like a little bit of a fake out. It worked, but it kind of didn't work because he just, I'm going to assume that was dead hard. Is that what it's called? And my hip. But yeah, I ended up getting a hit there. I ended up forcing them to like kind of pee their pants a little bit because they didn't expect me to roll back out of there out of my phase walk, which was beautiful. Yeah, but I'm pretty much using my phase walk just to like fly around the map and see if I can hear what gens are going off, being repaired, and I don't hear anything. So that tells me that they're just like kind of hovering around maybe 1 or 2 gens on this side of the map. And then I hear someone moaning over here, doing unsavory things in the corner. And I'm like, you know what? Let me see what's going on over here. It's a party that I haven't been invited to. Drops the pallet. Did you see that 180 right there? Call me Tony Hawk. You know what I mean? That was a 900. Tried to bait him there. I did get the bait. Beautiful. Again, I don't know if any of this is like impressive. Not gonna lie, I don't know if any of this is impressive, but we are doing things on the map. But back to what I was saying about like time efficiency in this game. You don't want to waste too much time on any chases that are going to lead to nothing. I can't believe I didn't avoid getting hit by this pallet here. Let's not talk about it. But I really like the way this character feels. You can zip around the map really easily. And there's like some mind games that you can play with it as well. Like you can like fake that you're going to chase your current survivor that you're chasing and then just go somewhere else completely. I just think there's like a lot of mind game potential with this character, and you could just roam. You can just roam freely. You don't see any marks, you just keep it moving. Oh, I was going to say perks. So I was looking at some of the meta perks and whatnot, because like I said, I like to be prepared whenever I play any game that has some competition to it. And I just wanted to prepare myself with the perks to see what survivors are running. Because if you really think about it, he just disappears there for a second. Oh yeah, it's because I hopped into my phase walk. But if you really think about it, I don't know how that hit, by the way. I'm not going to lie to you. Behavior, thank you. I don't know how that hit, but we did. We did, and it was all skill, ladies and gentlemen. No luck, all skill. But I like to prepare myself whenever I play anything, whether it's League of Legends or Deadlock or anything, with knowing what the meta is. I like to be aware. Going into this, I wanted to be as aware as possible of what the survivors could possibly be running with. You know, I saw like Dead Hard. There's that one perk, it's called like DS. It's like Decisive Strike or something like that. And I think they're both activated through hooks or something like that. So I was about to start slugging everybody and just leaving them on the floor. GG. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. People would really hate me for that and DDoS me, so I didn't do that. But I try to prepare myself for what survivors could bring and just see what the potential of the perks are. How strong can they get? I kind of got lucky there. Again, I was just roaming to try and see where they were and if I can hear any survivors or gens, and I just got lucky and ran into them there. Or maybe it was intuition, I don't know. Just phase walking around the map. I love the add-ons that like reduce the cooldown of this, so you can just do it on repeat. And to me, that's the strangest thing. I'm just kidding. I had to say that as soon as I saw him on my screen. But the strangest thing, or maybe even the stranger thing, is that you haven't subscribed to the channel. That's crazy. But yeah, this is pretty much, I'm not gonna lie, this game is pretty fun. I think when things are going your way, the game is very fun. I think even if things weren't going my way, there's fun in struggle. I think there's fun in not just having things go smoothly. I think there's some fun in that. There, I tried to avoid picking him up quickly because I didn't know whether or not somebody was gonna like try and body block me and be annoying. So I kind of waited a little bit to see if there was anybody around. I was just trying to scope out the area here with this phase walk. Plus, I heard the gen running, and I believe she was hiding in a locker. I believe she was hiding in a locker. Yeah, I think you can hear the sound right there. I think there was even somebody right behind me there when I was phase walking. But this killer is so fun. You know, I was originally going to play Pig, but I was like, you know what? She might be a little complicated for me. So I decided against it. It was either Pig or Spirit, and I just chose Spirit because she seems way more straightforward. But you'll notice a couple times in this first game where I try to phase walk and like my mouse is like kind of broken, so I have to like tap it a couple of times to get the phase walk to work, and it'll like cancel out. It's super silly. But if you guys have any questions for me, or if you guys have any curiosities about why I started playing or whatnot, I just remember seeing a couple of YouTubers talking about it. I've watched a couple of YouTubers like Otz, for example. I didn't want to hit the Dustin there because I think he has endurance off of a hook. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and aim for her instead of Dustin. Again, you might be like, oh, this isn't your first time playing this game. It 100% is, basically. Besides the time I played like 5 years ago just to try and get a Twitch clip. I don't know what Dustin was thinking here. Like, I was just going to, like, leave and never come back. But, you know, it worked. You know, he got hooked. We got his second hook out. But I watch a lot. Ooh, he died for that? Ooh. You know what? Maybe killers are broken. If I was Dustin there, I think I'd be upset. I think I'd be pretty angry if I was that guy. You know? I kind of feel bad for him a little bit. It is what it is, though. But, like, I'm not completely oblivious to, like, how people play this game, which might make it seem like this isn't my first game ever. Like, I watch Otsdarva, I watch, like, a whole bunch of just, like, random streamers who play this game in preparation for when I would eventually play. Because I've heard that, like, one of the biggest beginner player issues for Dead by Daylight is the lack of tutorial. So what I did was, I hopped into the custom games. And funny enough, in the custom games that you can play against bots, you can play the killers that you've unlocked, and you have access to every single perk in the game, I believe. I don't know what it was. Oh my goodness. I think that's the first time I got flashlight. That was my first time getting flashed. Holy. That was my first time ever getting flashed. W's in the chat. Thank you guys. I'm growing up so fast. But anyways, I was doing some custom games with bots. And I was pretty much just playing against bots with Pig and Spirit, and I was noticing like I was having a way easier time with Spirit because her traversal power is just so good. We get the hit there, and we have two of them dead at this point. One of them's on the ground, the other's hooked, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is a GG. That is my first ever. Her Mori is so sick, by the way. Her Mori is so sick. I think she has like one of the coolest looking Moris in the game. This is my first ever kind of video like this, and hopefully you enjoyed it.